Show me the money! Show me the money!
Show me the money! Welcome back to the Show Me the Money podcast. We are back with episode number 2. We're excited to get going. We had a really good week last week. I don't know how anybody else is feeling, but let me tell you, my sports betting account is looking healthy after last week.
I feel like we made some money.
Yeah, lots of good hits last week, boys.
Absolutely. I think the biggest one being, the one that we made right away was Thursday. That was a big hit for us. Our first podcast, and we hit a pretty good sized parlay. Utah -4.5, UConn +14, and then most of us bet the Nebraska +7.5. I was not one of those people. I couldn't willingly get myself to bet on Nebraska. So
yeah, it was brutal.
As an Iowa fan, I stayed away from that one. I think I'm the only one that didn't hit that night. But that was a huge win for us. We went into Saturday looking really good. Some of the picks we made, I had made Iowa under 43 as my lock of the day. That hit. Utah State +25.5. That hit. Colorado +20.5. That hit by a long shot. UNC money line.
What?
Hit. And then Penn State with a shocker in the last play of the game.
Yeah.
6 seconds left on the clock.
Oh my God.
Doubted you.
It's beautiful.
Never doubted
Cashed
you,
it.
Clarky.
Cashed it.
Our only misses of the day were really LSU -2.5. The quick thing we're gonna say about that, LSU didn't look like a real college team when playing that game. They missed tackles. They couldn't throw the ball. They couldn't catch the ball. I genuinely think most of the other top 25 teams would absolutely have destroyed LSU that last Saturday game. South Alabama was the only lock of the day that we didn't hit. Josh, do you have any words, anything that you'd like to say to all of our listeners?
Hey, you're gonna have those days, baby. Everyone's hitched their wagon to a team, and the wheels fall off. And that's what happened. As a true believer, I watched the game, and they came out and they held them to 3 in the first drive, and then they fumbled after putting a pretty good drive together themselves, and then after that fumble, they just kind of played scared and really reserved and played like they didn't want to be there anymore and played like they didn't want to win that game. So yeah, I mean, after the first quarter, I knew that wasn't hitting, and can't hit all. But you know what? We went 9 for 13 as a cast and hit 69% of those picks, baby. Let's go. We'll
yeah, baby.
Yeah, I think the average units won last week was probably 5 or 6, maybe even 7 units, depending on how much we all bet on some of these games. But
I mean, if you're not talking the parlays, yeah, you're probably right in that. You're in the correct area if you're not counting the parlays that we gave out. Yeah.
Yep.
So I just want to say, Clark on Saturday hitting a +900 boosted. Thursday night we gave out another +900 boosted. If you wrote them, there you go. All 7 picks. Okay, a little pat on the back. All 7 picks I gave out hit. Just saying. Didn't hit every bet this weekend.
Undefeated.
We parlayed a few games. We stepped out of line a little bit here and there. But we went 7-0 for the first weekend. No promises it doesn't, happen again. But when you go 7-0 and you start the first night of week 1 with a +900 bomb, but we got a big week this week with NFL starting. So, Ethan, I think we should just dive on in there, baby.
Shout out Tyler for his $1.58 win on Iowa.
There you go.
Yeah.
Big win, baby.
That is the pick of the weekend right there. $50
Damn right.
for like $1.79 or whatever. Go buy your girlfriend a fucking Dairy Queen cone and move on with it. Okay, we got to win. I said last week we were cracking a beer, we were watching that game, and we were just gonna be happy with the W, and that's what we got. So let's just move on. But it did hit.
One of the fun things that did happen in that game, I don't know if anybody else realized it. Iowa only scored 24 points. Do you know what that means?
Brian Ferentz needing to hit 25 a game, every game, so he can stay under contract. You would think week one against your cupcake that you bring in from out of town, you might want to run the score up a little bit, but dude saw 2 passing touchdowns in the first quarter and was like, you know what, already better than last season. Put in the old playbook, punting is winning. We're going to run the ball and kick it, let the defense do the job. But I think that's going to come back and bite him later in the year when you get Wisconsin on the road, Penn State on the road. Not going to be easy to put up a ton of points. He needed to hang the points while he could.
Do we want to talk about that Iowa offense? Because personally, I didn't think the first two, outside of the first 2 drives where we moved that ball really well, I thought our offense did not look good. It looked fine. It looked better than it has in the past, but I don't think it looked very good.
Well, the good news about that is we get to talk about as the first game this weekend. Iowa takes on Iowa State in Ames. It's hate week. Fuck
Shut up,
State,
Clark.
is what we all say. 5 of the 6 of us are all on Iowa. Clark being the only Iowa State fan on the podcast. Iowa State is going into this as 4-point underdogs. Who obviously most of us are probably choosing the Hawkeyes, but +4 underdogs for Iowa State. How are we feeling about this spread? Who are we thinking is kind of taking this?
I mean, it's a real low spread, and the over/under is also really low in this game. I do like Iowa to cover. I do think we are just the better team, like what typically happens. Iowa State came out last week against UNI, the little brother to the little brother in Iowa. They're an FCS school. The quarterback threw 10 for 13, 113 yards, 2 tutters, and he ran 1 in. Their top rushers went 11 for 49, 6 for 40, and 3 for 22. And their leading receivers had 1 for 36 and a tutter, 3 for 21, and 2 for 19 and a tutter. So not very impressive stat lines considering they were playing an FCS opponent.
I'm going to be honest. I think for being a bunch of young guys right now, we've got a true freshman starting quarterback. I'm pretty sure Rocco Becht, who looked amazing out there. It's going to be just like Brock Purdy again, your nightmares. He's going to be in your nightmares this weekend. He's passing to our tight ends. Looks amazing out there. And then we had our running backs, both, I think, one averaging 4.5 average per carry. The other one was like 6.7. That's amazing. And our defense, I mean, it was against an FCS school, which is understandable, but our defense looked good. You
had one kid with 2 picks.
We had a pick 6, and he's not even our best. We have TJ Tampa. We have him. I think it's gonna be a defensive battle. Give me Iowa State +4, +3.5, whatever you get it at, and run with it. I like it. I like Iowa State.
What I had to say here, first off, we're all big Hawks fans besides Clark. Respect the guy. The dude has a "fuck the Hawks" tattoo. He's taken this hate week to an entirely new level. So shout out to him for it. Maybe we could get him to send a picture and we can post that out for everybody. But on top of that, the little brother's always pissed off when the big brother just holds him down and spanks his ass repeatedly. Okay. If we want to talk about records, 7-3 in the past 10.
You guys have us all time by far, but it's a new year.
And
the past don't matter.
It's a new year, and we're playing you guys in Jack Trice. Doesn't matter. You guys haven't beat us in Jack Trice since 2011. You know what you were doing in 2011, Clark? Getting your first Woody, okay? You guys haven't seen a win at home since you popped your first chub. And it came in triple overtime. Not only do we own you in Iowa City, we've rented out Ames in Jack Trice Stadium and just spanked the piss out of you there too. Since 2011. And you're there every other year. We've whooped your ass, buddy. Every time.
It's a new team. Our team is young.
New team, new dream, under their ass. Whatever. The reason Clark can watch the Hawkeyes every week is because they actually put us on national television, unlike the Cyclones. And just a little caveat, just a little caveat to add to this weekend and the sweetness, okay? Kirk hates the Cyclones. He is also looking for his 200th career win, and what a better way to just hammer that down than against the Cyclones.
So what you're saying is you got to tease this lineup to Hawks minus like 14 and just make a killing on it, huh?
So we get a healthy Cade hitting the over.
I haven't found it at any books yet, but I've last week I gave out $50 on the Iowa money line to win like $1.79 or whatever. This week I'm scouring the books until kickoff for Hawks by a million, and that's what we're going with. Hawks by a million. Any way I can get them. I'm just going to eat the Hawks up.
If anything, this game's going to end in a one score. It's going to end in one score, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. It's going to end by one score. I can guarantee you that. It's not going to be a great game.
Over under at Ty?
36.5.
Yeah, 36.
I kind of like the over.
What do we think about that,
boys? I like the over.
I think if we get a healthy Cade, I like the over.
I mean, Iowa puts up 20 there, right, at least. So little brother needs to put up 17.
Which I think happens.
And I mean, that's easily. Spread math, so.
We put up
I think this game goes over.
I'm just going to say it. 10-7 last year. It's the under. If you're smart with your money, nobody has ever looked at an Iowa versus Iowa State game and said, probably going to be a lot of points. No, this game's always a barn burner, and it's always a barn burner because it's 6-3 in the third quarter, and literally a safety could make a difference, right? So yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not touching Iowa money line. I'm not touching the spread, and I'm not touching the total.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not touching this game, bro. You never know.
I don't want to touch it, but I'm going to touch it, sadly. But I honestly think this game could go over. I really think it could. Our defenses are the best parts of our teams. But seeing Iowa put up more points than I've ever seen them put in my entire life is kind of exciting. I want to see a shootout. I think there could be a shootout, Names.
I'm taking the under all day. I mean, the last time this game went over was in 17, and it was 44-41 in overtime. It's 2-7-1 over under.
So here's like what Cole's just saying. Iowa in their last 12 have hit the game total under 8 times. And Iowa State in their last 12 has hit the game under 9 times. Okay. Yeah. This game's not going over any way you paint it. So if you're going to bet this game, I have to. I'm a Hawks fan, ride or die. I'll be putting my money on the Hawks. Clark, I'm going to call you out right now as a friend bet. Me and you, let's go $20 to the winner and just move on with that. But if you're taking this game and you don't feel like picking a side, picking a spread, bet the under. That's my 2 cents.
Yep.
I'll take you up on that bet.
All right. Sounds like we're all pretty split on this game. In terms of money line spread, everybody has kind of their own opinion. I'm kind of, I think, with the majority that I'm just going to stay away from this game. Or as much as I want to bet on the Hawks, there's quite a few other good games to bet on. We're going to go to number 22 Ole Miss at number 24 Tulane. Tulane is a 7.5 point underdog. What are we liking with that game? Anything we like with that game?
The over. What is it right now, Tyler?
66.5 is also
both offenses, I guess. I mean, Tulane's got returners coming back, and they looked like an explosive offense when they played South Alabama. Ole Miss is supposed to have some dog back there at quarterback position. I heard they had a good game.
Yeah, Ole Miss put out 2 quarterbacks. They both went up over 100 yards last week. One threw for 4 tuds, the other threw for 2. So I don't know if a kid got hurt or they pulled him. I think they pulled him, but I love the over here. I do.
I like the over. The just explosive offenses, kind of okay defenses. It could get real tasty in the over.
So everybody's liking the over, and I'm kind of leaning that way. Both these teams last week were explosive. Ole Miss played just, a piss on that they paid to be there. However, something I thought about this game that was pretty interesting. It is number 20 versus number 24 in the nation, but it's in Tulane. So Tulane is a 7.5-point dog at home, and they're a little lower in the rankings. I think these guys are going to come out fiery. I think they're going to come out pissed off and play a really, really good game. If I had to pick a side, I think I'm going to lean Tulane just because they're going to have the green wave on their side. They're at home, but I like the over as well.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, if we're going to break it down, what I really, really, really like, first half money line. I'm a big first half money line. You get a lot of action straight out of the gate. It's always great. I got Tulane at plus 190.
Wow. All right.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So there's a good value bet right there. That Tulane Ole Miss game, Ty, you said it last week.
Good teams win. Great teams cover.
The great teams cover. That's going to be what we're looking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the last time these two played each other was in 2021, and Ole Miss won 61-21.
Different Tulane now, though.
Different
Tulane now. I like the looking back in the past, but with Tulane, it's just not fitting. It's a totally different program.
Awesome. And so with that, that's going to bring us to our next college game. It's going to be number 11, Texas, at number 4, Bama. Bama, the 7.5-point favorite at Alabama. Do we feel like that's a little bit low? Do we feel like
that feels high? I'm going to be honest with you. It feels high. And I like Texas on the money line this week. I'm not going to lie to you. They played Bama last year, and they played them real tight, and that was with an injured, hobbled Quinn Ewers, and Quinn's healthy this year. I mean, they don't have Bijan, they don't have Roshan, but I like the tenacity of this Texas team, man. I think they're going to give Bama a run for it.
Bama. Bama will do what Bama does.
I'm with Clark on that. Watching the game last week, Texas played Rice. They won, they handled their business, but Quinn Ewers did not look like he was thrilled to be there. And I think he's a gamer. I really do enjoy him as a quarterback. And last year, I was all for Texas to win this game. However, being in Alabama, it's going to be rowdy in Tuscaloosa. That stadium is packed. They got game day there. And just with the way Quinn Ewers looked last week, he didn't look like excited to be there and happy to be playing the game of football. I'm taking Bama -7. As much as I hate to say it, give me Bama. Honestly, think Bama might run it up a little more. Bama -9.5 could be a good alternate line. I think it's going to be a good game, but in the end, I think Bama gets the right bounce going their way at home, and they're just going to pull away with this one.
What time's that game at?
That's a 6 o'clock Central.
Little prime time game.
What do we think of the over-under there, boys? 53.5?
Give me the over.
I like the over.
I do too.
Texas put up a ton against Rice, but it's Rice. So, I mean, it doesn't really mean too much there. I'll
say this. I work with a lot of people that are Bama fans, and the chatter around work this week was it's a good thing they were playing Middle Tennessee last week because they did not look great. I didn't watch the game personally.
I also heard that and seen some of the highlights. It looked a little sloppy.
That's coming from Bama fans saying they did not look very good, and it's a good thing it was Middle Tennessee State.
I think Bama not playing their best is still better than Texas any day, though. I'm not a big Texas
I mean, that's
believer,
coming
never
from
will
an
be.
Iowa State fan.
Yeah, they're leaving the Big
Get
12
shit
anyways.
on.
They're leaving anyways, going to the SEC. They're not going to do good there. Never will. I don't believe in them.
So sounds like we're pretty split on this one too. Josh is going with Texas. Okay, Clark, Cole, and I are all on Bama. Parker,
I
what
like
you thinking
Bama.
here?
I like
I
Bama.
like Bama.
All right,
Yeah,
Ethan?
I'm with you guys. I like the Bama spread. I
Same,
really
yeah.
all right. Josh is
I'll
Josh
write
is
it
the black
solo,
sheep,
baby.
I think we could even tease that one, Tyler. We could tease it up.
Oh, it's just a little look ahead for Tyler's teaser at the end of the show. Bama will be there. Bama has a sweet, sweet little spot in that teaser. Don't you worry about it.
Preach it.
All right, and I think I know as much fun as that Texas Alabama game is going to be, I think everybody on this podcast is eyeing the same game, and that's Nebraska at Colorado.
Yeah.
I am
Can't
drinking
wait
the
to be
Kool-Aid
the
on
biggest
Colorado.
mark on the face of the planet when listen, I got this Colorado team earlier in the week. I found it on Sunday, and the first thing I did was put it in the group chat. I told you guys to go put every penny on it. I threw a 50 burger on Colorado at -2.5. I know some of you guys got them at 1.5, and I'm real
I
jealous
got them at
about
1.5.
that.
I got them
I got
plus
you at
one
that.
and a half.
You got them. You got Colorado with points.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, I'm
Wow.
jealous of
Let me
that.
tell you.
I don't know how I
Wow.
got that, but I got that.
Yeah, I have Colorado plus 1.5, $50 on that.
Yeah, plus
Wow.
one and a
Wow.
half.
So
I put
So
20
some of
on
the
it.
guys were catching some of
Yeah.
the guys catching really, really good lines out here.
I mean, the
And
line's
that's
still
just-
at only
The
3.
line- yeah.
Let's talk about
even
that.
it's still -2.5. I think it's absolutely absurd that that's still the
It's
line,
criminal,
and they're they're small favorites, like a -100 for Colorado, who just beat TCU, who put up 40 points on a TCU team, and then we watched Nebraska that night struggle with Minnesota, and that sloppy of a game.
Devil's advocate. I think I can see where the committee's coming from, saying Nebraska's defense is going to be a lot better than TCU's defense, just coming out of the Big Ten. And Colorado's defense isn't nearly as good as Minnesota's defense. And Minnesota's defense did look good again last week. So maybe they are still a top 20 defense in the country. You know, I kind of speculated maybe they wouldn't be, but maybe they are. So trying to play devil's advocate, I guess that's where the books are coming from. I almost wonder if it's not like I understand they're supposed to have analytics, but this almost feels like a human bias at this point after what we saw week 1, guys. I mean, I don't see how you have Big Red at +2.5 here. This is just outrageous to me.
Yeah.
So to the point that Josh made, yes, they are going to be facing a way better defense than they were last week. However, Nebraska's got to face a way better offense than they
Tremendously
faced
better.
last week. And I don't think that their defense is going to be able to hang in there. And yes, it is a ton of the money on Colorado. And the public's all riding with it. We drank the Kool-Aid with it last week.
73%.
We drank that Kool-Aid last week and said, you know what? If fool me once, shame on me. However, here, I just don't see it. I think Colorado is going to come out, and it's at home, okay? They sold out their spring game. They just went and knocked off number 17 in the country on the road and are now coming home. I think the Buffs are going to be playing in a rowdy barn. It's going to be a tough, loud environment for Nebraska, and I just don't see them getting it done on the road after losing to Minnesota. They did everything they could to lose that game. They had that game within full control and still gave it away. So I just don't see a way Colorado doesn't come out of their home opener with a W, let alone covering 2.5. Sanders might make his Heisman case look even better this week. He threw for 510 last week. I think he's going to come out here and just ball all over Nebraska again.
Yeah, I mean Jeff Sims looked bad last week, the quarterback for Nebraska. He threw 3 picks. He ran for 91 on the ground, but he only threw for 114, man. They had 2 guys with more than 2 grabs and more than 10 receiving yards. I mean, I just I I just don't see it. Tyler said Sanders threw for 510 last week and 4 tutters. Travis Hunter just looked absolutely psychotic out there. I don't see it. I don't.
Nor do
Yeah.
I.
I don't know,
Um,
but Nebraska's got to hang in there with their fast tempo offense. So we got to see if Nebraska's going to be conditioned. If you watch that Colorado TCU game, Colorado was hyper tempo, faster than your normal fast paced offense, and they kind of ran that tempo the whole game. So in both offenses, we're going fast. So who knows if Colorado's defense with a slower offense is going to be better? Who can tell if Nebraska's defense is going to be able to hang in with that fast tempo offense?
Yeah, I'm waiting for these alternate lines to drop because I'm genuinely thinking about putting quite a bit more on something like a -10 toward Colorado, like as a 10-point favorite for Colorado almost.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most attractive lines all weekend, and I think one of the most attractive that we will see all year.
I think the most interesting bet on this entire game is the total. I mean, that's something I feel like we could dive into because the rest of it, we're all agreeing. It's you're either going to take Colorado money line or Colorado and give them up the points. It doesn't matter. They're both locks. What do you guys think about this 58.5 number?
I think it's high.
Can agree with you. I think it's high.
I think Colorado is going to smoke them. I don't think Nebraska will score almost anything.
Well, let's say if Colorado puts up their 45 again, you don't think Nebraska gets 14 to cover?
All I'm going to say is it's prime time and he's getting his first show at home on the big stage. He's going to put on a show. We got dogs and we got leaders. We don't got captains. We got dogs and leaders. And these boys are going to go out whenever they have the opportunity, and they are going to want to put on a show and score and play hard, good football. And I think Nebraska's in for a rude awakening, and I think Deion's about to let people know he's here for college football and he ain't going nowhere.
I'm with you right there. I said this last week. I said Colorado is a team to fuck with. They are dogs. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Big Red is not as good. They're not a good football team. They've never been a good football program. They could eat a bag of dicks. Colorado is the fucking goats right now.
I mean,
I wouldn't put any knock on bad program, but they're not doing well right now, and Colorado is only up.
Boys, I just found your prop lock of the week, and it's Colorado over under 30.5. Give me the over all day on that.
Oh,
that's that's the team total for this game.
Oh,
hammer.
So the only thing I'll have to say about the total is I think I'm leaning towards the over, like you guys are all saying. However, I think Nebraska, the only way they can win this game is by controlling the ball and time of possession. So I think they're going to take the air out of the ball. I think they're going to have to try to run it. But when you're down a bunch of points, you can't. You're going to have to throw the ball. Nebraska is not a team that's made to come back. So I think Colorado jumps on them early, and Nebraska is just in for a long, long day up there in the mountains. So I could see the over, but why mess around with that when you can just take the points with Colorado? And that's kind of where I'm leaning.
I like the points.
Put a house payment on it.
All right.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe.
Please bet that you want to lose.
So as exciting as all of those college games are that we are planning on, betting on Saturday, Tyler does have some other ones that he's paying attention to. He's going to give you a couple of lines and, maybe something he likes as well.
So for this week, just a few things to note. UTEP, University of Texas El Paso, is the favorite against Northwestern. And Northwestern's a Big Ten school. So I'm just saying I'm not betting that game. I will be checking in on it. I don't want to be on the right side or the wrong side of history with this one. But that's just a weird fact, seeing that UTEP is favored over a Big Ten school. Granted, they won one game last year. They looked like complete shit last week, but just a little fun nugget to check out there. We talked about all the games on Saturday. We need to jump back to Friday real quick when this is going to be coming out. Kansas money line against Illinois. Illinois about lost to Toledo last week. Kansas looked good. Jaden Daniels is coming back this week. So he didn't actually play last week. He was the guy who took the nation by storm last year. He will be coming back this week. Sorry. Another one to look at, just could be tasty. I've heard some rumblings about it. I might take a line on it myself. Troy plus 16.5 at Kansas State. Troy's won 12 straight games, and they're almost 17-point dogs. Just seems like a large line to me, something you could maybe look forward to. I personally will have to see how the betting day is going. That one might be a get right game with me there. So I might be looking for Troy's plus 16.5. UTSA is minus 13.5 against Texas State. Texas State went in last week and beat Baylor. Texas State got paid $1.5 million to come in and to play Baylor and beat them. They took the money, they took the W, and left. So that just seems like a big line. However, I'm the biggest meat meeper around, so I might be checking in on that one a little bit too. Might lay a little money with the meat meeps. Maybe Texas State blew their load too early and just beat Baylor. UConn, don't sleep on UConn, okay? They came out last week and covered for us. They are 2.5-point dogs to Georgia State. I don't know, me personally, I'm kind of leaning towards staying away from that game, but just seemed odd to me. However, Baylor, Utah is a game that I plan on hammering
I wanted
this
to
weekend.
talk this game too,
Why?
so I'm glad you brought it up.
The Utes last week looked phenomenal against Florida. We said it was a rough and rowdy barn. However, they're headed into Baylor. And I think Baylor, like I just said, lost to Texas State. They're going to be pissed off. But here's the caveat. The Utes, 6.5-point favorites. Baylor's starting quarterback, out. Give me the Utes again on the road, minus 6.5.
I 100% agree with you, Tyler. And I don't have near as much info as you have. It's just my personal thing. If you come out and lose to an FCS school, I will not pick you the following week until you show me you know how to play FBS football again. And there's 70% of the money on the Utes, and I'm going to put mine in there with it.
I'm with you.
The last game I'd like to talk about before we finish this, I kind of blew my load a little early with them, is Oregon at Texas Tech. Again, they are also 6.5-point favorites on the road. Texas Tech went into Laramie, Wyoming, and something was in the air that night, and the Cowboys of Wyoming got them. So I think Oregon's going to go down there and handle business with Bo Nix at the helm. So look for that one to be an exciting game. The over-under is really high line, so the books are expecting no defense, just a straight shootout. Think that one's going to be a fun one down there in Lubbock. And my last game, I promise, for this week is Auburn and Cal. Cal was last week playing North Texas, and everybody was high on North Texas, thought North Texas was going to come in and surprise Cal. Cal handled business. Auburn's only 6.5-point favorites on the road against Cal this week. So I'm thinking I'm leaning towards Auburn as well there. So I know I'm taking a lot of road favorites, but I'm liking them this week. Maybe you guys do a deeper dive yourself, but that's kind of where I'm leaning.
Yeah, I'm with you on that Oregon game, Tyler. 78% of the money's also with you. And I already mentioned I'm with you on the Utah game as well. Those will be two games I'm on this week.
What do you guys think about this Notre Dame NC State game? We've got Notre Dame minus 7.5 right now, 7.5.
How could I forget it? And how could I forget to leave it off my card, dude?
Easy. It's Notre Dame.
Freaking no.
Sam
This is a new Notre Dame. Sam Hartman and the boys and his running back duo, they lit it up while they were out in Ireland. And I think they are going to be a problem this year. Those independent Catholics are going to be a problem. If you got the cash laying around, not saying it's going to be perfect, but you can get a really good price on Sam Hartman as Heisman this year. And he has been putting on a show so far. So, Clark, thank you for bringing it up so I didn't forget it. Give me Notre Dame on the spread. I've got them at 7.5. If you jumped on it earlier in the week, you get it at 6.5. I wish I would have. I missed it. But, yeah, Notre Dame by 1 million. Thank you for bringing it up.
I like the over in that game, too.
I was going to say, I also like the over in that game.
Notre Dame is going to put up at least 40, so then you just need NC State to find 11.
Yep.
And that's the absolute bottom of the barrel number for Notre Dame. They may cover it on their own. They covered it on their own last week. The over on that feels good.
And to start us off with our NFL talk, I have some breaking news, fellas. The Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow agrees to a $275 million extension, making him the highest paid player in NFL history. This is perfect timing for our NFL talk. Good for Joe Burrow. Let's start off with the Bengals at Browns. Browns are 1.5-point underdogs at home. Something interesting about that I saw earlier today. Let me load it back up. NFL division home underdogs in week 1 are 7-0 against the spread since 2018. So you're looking at, is that a division game?
Yeah, it's a division game. It's the North.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a division game where, a 1.5-point underdog, it's not much, but it's something when you consider that since 2018, there hasn't been one that lost at home. What are we thinking about this Bengals-Browns game?
Depends what kind of Deshaun we're going to see.
Is Joe playing?
Yeah, Joe's playing.
Yeah, the man got paid. He's going to play. Here's a little fun fact to go along with Ethan. The Browns in the Joe Burrow era are 4-1 against the Bengals. Somebody over there on the defensive side of the ball in Cleveland kind of knows how to handle Joe. With Ethan's stat and, that one there, I kind of am leaning towards the Browns here, but I do not have them as an official pick. I'm staying away from that one.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, the Browns are 8-2 since 2018 against this Bengals team. It's hard to lean which way. It depends if they're actually going to play as a team. We saw them kind of shit the bed in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, I'm on a stay away. Honestly, a lot of the NFL slate this weekend, I'm kind of on a stay away until some of these teams show me what they are. I think it's an exciting weekend to bet if you are a pure gambler, but if you're out there looking to make money, it is a scary slate this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
So the game that we are all excited about on Sunday is going to be Packers at Bears.
Bear down.
Bear down.
A spread of 1. The Bears are a 1-point favorite. It's up to you whether you're going to end up betting the money line or the spread, I think. Why not bet the spread if you're going with the Bears? Is there anybody who is not picking the Bears on this game?
I kind of don't want to pick the Bears.
You're a Cardinals
I don't
fan.
like.
You have no
Fucking
opinion.
Wisconsin guy.
I don't like either team. The Bears are only good for fantasy with Justin Fields. I don't think he's a thrower. The only way I think you guys can squeak a win out here, but it's going to be an ugly game. I think it's not worth it to bet anything on this game unless you're betting unders or overs.
I full-heartedly disagree with you on that, Clark. Packers, it's Jordan Love's first true start as the leading man there in Green Bay. I think the Bears, I don't think the Bears have the advantage in the tight end room and in the wide receiver room. Green Bay's got us in the running back room, whatever. But we got them in the quarterback room, the most important room in the National Football League. Also, Green Bay's top two returning targets from last season are both out this week.
Are out.
They're not playing. They have one guy in the pass that's going to be catching passes with NFL experience. All the other guys are two of them are undrafted free agents, and three other guys were draft picks this year.
Then I'm saying I like the under for this game. I don't think there's going to be a ton of points.
Give me the Bears -1.5. Honestly, I might tease them to like -6.5. I don't see the Packers being in the same league as the Bears this weekend.
I think Jair is just going to lock whoever up he's covering. Jair is going to lock up whoever is across.
Okay, so he locks up DJ, but then we got Mooney, we got Claypool, we got Kmet, we got Herbert out of the backfield, we got.
And you
Justin's
have a running
legs.
back at quarterback. He has to get the ball to those playmakers.
Works for the Ravens.
That's Lamar.
So,
this is Justin Fields.
Love the Bears. I don't want to touch this game with a 10-foot pole.
Okay. I'll touch all over it.
This is going to be one of those games where it's kind of going to show the future. Are the Packers going to find their third stud quarterback in a row, and just keep dominating the Bears, or are the Bears finally going to break out of their shell and beat the Packers so we can get rid of this bad juju from them? The Bears need to start this campaign this year off with a win. Bad, really bad. But I don't want to bet this game at all. Just going to watch it and probably try not to puke the entire time because I think it's going to be a sweat.
It is going to be a sweat.
Go ahead, Cole.
No, go ahead.
I just want to say one last thing on this, and it's if the Bears find a way to lose this game with what we said about the wide receivers, it's time for the McCaskey family to sell the team because it's embarrassing.
Time.
It's so they run it like it's still a team being managed in the 1940s, like it's a mom and pop shop, and it's not. You are a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Start running your team as such. Also, the Packers are going through a rebuild. They're starting their rebuild this year. They're eating at Aaron's contract this year. They have nothing. They spent the least amount of money in the league in free agency. There's no way they should be able to hang with the Bears who are in the second year of their rebuild.
Yeah, I'm not a big NFL guy, and there's no reason for me that the Bears don't blow the Packers out of the water for like what feels to me like the first time in a long time. Josh mentioned it's Jordan Love's first game as a true starter, realistically.
He started one game last year, but it was, right at the end of the year once they were eliminated, right? Or no, Aaron even started that game too, didn't he? They just put him in the second half.
I can't remember. I think they were in playoff contention, but I think they got knocked out because the Lions beat them, right? In the final game.
So Aaron would have started that game. So he hasn't even started a game where he was the number one guy.
And I think he had one game last year.
He started against Kansas City one game with Aaron Rodgers hurt.
Yeah, but that wasn't as the number one guy. That was in a fill-in role. Like, if he was their next guy, if he was their third consecutive Hall of Famer in a row, they wouldn't have put up with Aaron the last 2 years. Yes, he was doing MVP stuff, but they still wouldn't have. They hate him up there. They love him as a player. They hate him as a guy. They hate him in the area of Green Bay. They say he's not a good guy to be around. I don't see it. I don't think Jordan loves him. I'm not drinking his Kool-Aid, and I won't because I'm a Bears fan. I'll never do it.
The only thing that worries me about this game is that, you have Jordan Love, who has never played in a big-time environment. That's what worries me. So he could either step the fuck up or he's going to suck. But either way you look at this game, the Bears are due. This is a must-win game. If you're going to start out a season, it's a must-win game.
Yes.
It's
And there's
100%
no
a
way I
must win.
think Justin doesn't take that personally. I think Justin has taken everything personally. You got Brisker saying that he hates Green Bay. Everybody hates Green Bay. I'm not even going to touch half of this game, but I'm going to put my money on a Justin Fields rushing touchdown because
You
that
also
is
gotta-
going to
Hammer
pay
that.
out.
You also got to remember it's Justin's do or die year. He's got a receiving core now, and at the end of this year is going to be when we make our decision on his 5th-year option. It's time for him to put up or shut up. It really is. We've hung with him. He was exciting to watch last year, and if he doesn't make strides in the passing game this year, we have 2 first-round picks, and it'll be time to move on from him because we'll have the capital to go get Caleb or Drake or your pick of the guys, whoever you want. So for Justin, it's his career year. He either becomes the guy or he fades into obscurity and becomes maybe a Tyrod type of player.
I agree / disagree. I don't think it's a do or die year. I think the Bears have enough trust in him in that front office that they have found their guy. And they're
I
going
think
to
we have
develop
two.
that until we can't. I think this is going to be a great year. I mean,
I do too.
I'm
I'm
biased.
very
I'm
optimistic.
super biased, but looking at it as a football team, they have strutted very well.
So the last NFL game that we were going to kind of talk about is, I think, is it the Sunday night game or the Monday night game? The Buffalo
the Jets?
Bills at
Monday.
the Jets. It is the Monday night football game. So, Ty, what is this spread currently at? What lines are we looking at? What are we looking
2.5.
at? Right
Bills are favored. 45.5 over under.
There you
This
have it.
Jets, I'm thinking here. This Jets team
I'm
is going to
taking
be
the
Pack-
Jets to-
It's basically the Packers. They're going to win a ton of games in the regular season. They're going to get to the playoffs, and they are going to suck. That is what's going to happen this year. I'm calling it right now.
Last time Aaron Rodgers had a good defense, he won the Super Bowl. So I think this Jets defense brings him another side of the game that he was lacking in Green Bay. They got an explosive offense now. They got an experienced quarterback at the helm. That was pretty much the main key ingredient they were missing in their Kool-Aid mix. And I've drank it, and I think they go out and they get a first game dub against the Bills.
I'm right there with you. I am all in on Aaron Rodgers with his Jets. He is no longer a Packer, so I can finally support him for the quarterback that he is. He's done so much ayahuasca. He spent 9,000 hours in the dark. He is ready to go. This motherfucker is going to play like Batman because he has something to prove, is that he is not washed up. He is still a top-tier quarterback.
You guys are going against the money right now. There's only 36% of the money on that Jets team right now.
Because
So
everybody
here's the
loves
thing.
the Bills.
Here's the
You're
thing.
betting against the second best quarterback in the league. Sorry, Tyler.
Overrated.
One thing. It's in New York, kind of. They're not actually in New York.
It's in New Jersey.
New York Jets, right? So it's home field for the Jets. It's on 9/11 in New York. So the boys are going to be buzzing. The stadium's going to be rompous. And I think they're going to come out and Aaron Rodgers has to show the world that, hey, it wasn't me in Green Bay that was holding that team back.
Agreed.
I got targets around me. I got a defense around me. I got a running game around me. I think he's going to go out there and light it up against them. However, I really don't want to touch this game. But if I'm picking a side, I'm picking the Jets.
I'm on the same page as you guys. I think this Jets team is going to go out there, put up some points, but I think Josh Allen and the Bills are going to stick right there with them this entire game, and it's going to be a close game at the end.
So we mentioned earlier that this NFL slate is scary, and it is. The only game I feel very comfortable putting money on is the Philly New England game. Have you guys looked at the spread on that? It's 4. They're only giving New England 4 against the Super Bowl runner-up.
So with that game, all I really have to say is Bill Belichick is a phenomenal coach. And
He is.
at home, he's even better. And it's just, what are you going to do to stop his defense. Yes, the Eagles are great, but week one, historically, Super Bowl losers do not do well, especially at covering the spread. So that's another stay away for me. Honestly, I'm not even going to lie. This is a scary, scary slate. It's either big lines or the typical week one headliner games that they put out there. So I don't know. That one's going to be tough. I think the Eagles come out on top, but don't be surprised if that's a barn burner.
I'll agree with that one. And also, just a little side note, Bill Belichick is going through a breakup right now.
He is doing
with
that.
his super hot girlfriend. He's got vengeance in his veins. He is black veined right now.
R.I.P. to the GOAT.
Rip.
So I just saw two more lines I want to bring up and see if you guys have anything to say. Sorry, where did it go?
What about the Cowboys-Giants game?
Well, I wanted to bring up Indy Jacksonville. Jacksonville only laying 4.5 against this Indianapolis team that does not look. They didn't look good at football last year, and they don't have Jonathan Taylor.
Me and Tyler went to the Indy Jacksonville game. What was it now? Almost 2 years ago? Something like that.
Jacksonville beat the Colts to keep.
Jacksonville beat
the Colts to keep the Phillip Rivers led Colts out of the playoffs. However, all time in Trevor Lawrence's tenure down there in Jacksonville, the Colts are 3-2 against him. Take that for what you will. But me personally, I'm going to be jagging off in that game, baby.
Yeah,
I will
100%.
be jagging off. Give me the Jags
Duval,
minus 4.5.
baby.
I love
Give me a
Jags
money
minus
line.
4.5.
I'll be jagging off. Hope you guys going to grab some lotion and jag off with me. It'll be a fun one.
I'm with you.
New rules for lock of the week. We are going to do it a little bit differently than we did last week. New rules for lock of the week are going to be the odds. Number one, they have to be better than a minus 150 odds. Anything that is better per se, minus 200, can't do it. You got to find a new odd or a new lock of the week pick if that is the case. That is what we're going to do. I'm going to track all these at the end of the year. We're going to come up with, I don't know if it's going to be I don't know if I want it to be a punishment, but we want the loser to definitely have to do something for the rest of the winners per se. We do want to know
24 hours in a Waffle House.
I was gonna say let's do like a legit fantasy punishment. I like the 24-hour idea. I do.
We'll workshop this a little bit as time goes on.
So Tyler's teaser of the week, I'm going with, it's going to be a 6.5 point teaser. It's 5 legs. It's plus 450. Give me Wake on the spread down to 3.5. Notre Dame on the spread down to 1. Bama down to 0.5. Auburn comes down to a pick'em, and Utah minus 1 plus 450. That's my teaser of the week. For my lock of the week, I'm going with Utah minus 7.5 at Baylor.
That's
I
hot.
like it.
That's hot.
I like
Good
that
bet.
one.
I'll go here. I got Notre Dame alternate spread here, minus 9.5 against the NC State.
Good pick. I'll go with Kansas minus 3.
Friday Night Lights, baby. Give me Kansas with you. I like that.
Amen.
I like Colorado. I'm locking Colorado at minus 2.5, minus 3, whatever you get them at. That's my lock.
I think I'm joining you there. That's going to be my lock of the week as well. It doesn't, to me, that game's not even close. I may even, like I said earlier, I'm going to put another bet on them at like minus 10 when that alternate spread comes out. So I'm going to be betting on that, as soon as that's probably available on the sports books.
I also really like Ole Miss, Tulane over, Texas, Bama over. I like the Jags minus 4.5. And I like the Bears minus 1.5. Those are kind of all my picks for the weekend.
And we're gonna go different here, baby. Texas A&M at Miami, minus 3.5. Texas A&M at minus 112. Lock it.
I like it.
Cash it out. Cash it out.
Boom.
Like it.
So that's a pretty solid group of locks of the week. I am pretty confident in all of those picks that everybody made this week. Like I said, I'm going to keep track of those. At the end of the year, we're going to have some sort of punishment or prize, or we're going to find some way to really make this a little bit of a reward scenario. We want this to be a lock for a reason. So we want you guys to benefit from it. We want us to benefit from it as well. Hopefully, we're going to have a lot of fun with it. Before we head out for this weekend, there's one more thing I wanted to cover, and that is the World Series odds for Major League Baseball. Now, I am the biggest baseball guy here. I don't think that that's up for debate. I don't know how much everybody has been paying attention to that over the last even week or so, but some interesting things happened. When I had made this rundown, the odds were Braves plus 320, Dodgers 400. And that was after a pretty rough series for the Dodgers. The Braves kind of mollywopped them in 3 out of 4 games. Something interesting happened. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Julio Urias got into some trouble. I didn't realize how significant that change was until I looked about 20 minutes ago. Like I said, the Dodgers were plus 400 when that happened. When I just checked it a second ago, the Dodgers are now plus 500. The Braves went from plus 350 to win the World Series all the way down to plus 240. With
Wow.
that big of a change, with 4 weeks left of the regular season, that's huge. Less than that, we have less than 3 weeks of baseball left, and that's a massive change to happen right at the end of the season. I don't know if any of you guys have been watching the Braves this year. I am riding them hard. That staff, the pitching staff, is overwhelming. The hitting, the lineup is unreal. This is not just arguably the best Atlanta Braves team we have seen in a long time. This is one of the best lineups in baseball we have seen in a very long time. And as good as we thought the Dodgers were 2-3 years ago, the Braves, I think, are significantly better. And the fact that they have all of these guys locked up for not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but another like 6, 7, 8 years is
Disgusting.
Unbelievable. So we get to watch the same Atlanta Braves team for the next 8 years. Oh my God.
It's going to be
I think it's
crazy.
going to be a dynastic run.
It is.
I'm excited for it.
This is the closest thing we've seen to a dynasty in baseball since, when they were calling the Cubs a dynasty. As full of shit.
Whoa.
Easy
full-
now.
as full
You
of
once
shit
thought the
as
White
that
Sox
was.
were good.
That's a good point. But as good as a dynasty as we thought the Cubs were back in 2016, they don't even compare to this Atlanta Braves team. This Atlanta Braves team, and
Quite a
it is
1-year
going-
dynasty the Cubs had there.
Yeah, it is going to be a lot of fun to watch this Braves team in the postseason.
It'll get interesting. I mean, that's something that I'm kind of paying attention more to than that would be how the Cubs have shot up drastically since, last 30 games, sitting a
Since
game
the
and a
All-Star
half behind
break.
right now.
Yeah, that was one of the other things I hadn't even brought up. They were not looking great a couple weeks ago, and now they are at plus 2,900 odds, and they're 3.5 games up in the wild card. That was before today's game. I don't know if they played today, I should say. But 3.5 games up in the wild card. So with 3 weeks left, they're pretty likely to make the postseason. All you need is 2-3 good weeks of baseball, and that's a World Series team right there.
I need the Brewers to keep losing.
You need the Brewers to keep losing too. That as well. That's going to wrap it up for our podcast. We have an exciting weekend ahead of us. We gave you all of our picks. We want you to win the money. We want you to see the money. And of course, I want to be shown the money. So please show me the money.
Woo!